Hello everyone, Cliff here in the shed again. To cut a long story short, my granddaughter rather, who's now 15, popped over the other day, brought me over a steak bake from Greg's. It's always good for the belly. But she mentioned that she keeps a card and things in the back of her phone because she's got a little job and that now. Does a bit of, she's working, so she's got a bit of money. And she was saying that she never has anywhere for change, so did a little bit of internet research, and last April Corter Leather, who I've watched quite a lot, they did a little design and that for a coin and card purse. It wasn't a free design. I mean, they do a lot of free designs and I've learned a lot from them, so I've got no problem with paying the $2.50, which equates to about £2.16 for this pattern, which you just download and print off. I'm going to cut it out and see if I can make my granddaughter this little coin purse. I would have printed this on a bit of card if I had any, but I haven't got any. I couldn't be, well, I never got round to going over the shops to buy some cards, so I'm just going to have to cut it out of this paper and be extra careful when I'm laying it out. So I'll get on with that. I won't talk too much in this. I'll speed it up a bit as I go through it. I'll just stop it and do it in normal time if I've got anything to say. So here goes. See how I get on with this. I've never actually made anything from someone else's pattern before. I've always winged it and drawn my own stuff up. So this should be quite easy. This pattern had, it's got this little accuracy test measure on it, which should be exactly 2 inches. Strangely, I had to print it at 102% to get the to get that to come out at exactly 2 inches. Just in case you're wondering, the reason I punched these little holes in the corners, that is a Corter Leather trick that I learnt, well, one that they put up on their YouTube videos. It stops, so like when you get a corner of a leather, I don't know if you'll be able to see that bit, where you go over slightly with a knife or something, just makes it weaker, makes it easier to tear. I mean, they're talking about 5 or 10 years. So punching the hole and cutting into the hole just makes it last a lot longer and stops the corner cracking. So about halfway through stitching this, I sort of changed my mind a bit, because I want to burnish these two edges, because once this is stitched it's going to be very difficult to do them. So I've unpicked it and I'm going to burnish these edges, and I'm going to actually give it a coat of neatsfoot foot oil as well before I stitch it up again. I'm going to burnish these edges and then stitch it again. While I was oiling it, I had another thought. She expressed a liking for the little bumblebees I had on my wallet. So I was going to laser a bumblebee and then her name and phone number in case she loses it somewhere underneath, wherever the flap will go. So it'll be above here. And I was going to stick a laser some bumblebees or a bumblebee on it. So I'm going to put the press studs in now, so I can see where the bumblebees and number can go. And while I was remembering that, I remembered that there's this little snap tab thing that was sort of added to it after I watched the first video on it, which I've screwed up and thrown away. So the press studs are in, and I've lasered the bumblebees and her name and number, which I thought I'd better cover up. Excuse me. So now I can sew it again. I'm finishing this off now, and something I've learned is that I really hate stitching without a stitching pony. This is the first time I've ever stitched anything without a pony, not on the pony. And I have found it pretty tricky. That's it, a couple of back stitches and it's done. Found that very difficult. So now what we've got to do is fold that over, glue it to these edges, I did make some marks on here where the glue lines have got to go, but I can redo them. I think I'll hammer this a bit, get that stretched out properly. Then I've got to fold that over, glue these edges on. There. And there. And then stitch these lines. But I'm going to try and squash this down a bit to get that stretched out. Alright, so I've glued one edge and I clamped it when I glued it. But it's really tight. I cannot get this edge out right over without getting a little bit of a buckle in this. Now I think it'll be alright once it's all done and stitched. So I'm just going to put the glue on it, glue it up and clamp it on. Let it go completely off and then stitch it and see how it goes. I think I may have cut the pattern wrong slightly or something, I don't know. But I'll carry on. Alright, with a bit of a struggle I've got it in place. I'll let it go off and see what happens. See whether it has made it all cockeyed or whatever. Alright, I'm going to leave that side clamped up while I try and put a stitch line in this. I think on the end just here, I think I'll come over with a stitch and do a double little corner wrap on it. Let's see if I can get the stitch line punched first. So far so good, it ain't come apart. I think I need one more over the edge there, and I'll do the same down there. Right. I would have liked to have got this in my stitching pony to stitch it, because I don't really like doing it. I don't know what I've done with my needles. Here they are. Right, I'm threading my needles up, now we go to stitching it. So my plan is to go a couple over the top and a couple around the side. Just like that. That should make the corner quite strong. And now I'll just stitch it as normal. Couple of wraps around there now. Just going to back stitch it now. This has been quite a tricky sewing expedition. Well, got it done. Just try and do this side and hope it holds together. Well, that's it. I'm going to curve these corners. Burnish what I can round here and round here. I'll come back when that's done. Well, here it is finished. Got to be honest with you, it was a bit of a struggle to do this. Partly because I use this linen thread. It's really strong, but it's just quite unyielding. Although it's quite thick, it's only 0.6 thread, but I wanted to use white thread on it, so there it is with the bumblebees. Opens up, you can get all your change in that bit and get cards and whatever in there, or you can get notes or whatever in there. It's got a name and phone number there in case you loses it and some honest person finds it. I'll probably just give it another oiling, give it another neat's foot oil, and I might just put it under a bit of weight overnight, see how it looks, if it's a bit more squashed together. But I ain't got any change or anything I can chuck in there at the moment, but hopefully she'll like it. Right, I'll oil it again and see how it looks overnight. Alright, so here it is finished. I did squash it last night, but it didn't really make a lot of difference to it. I oiled it and squashed it, but it didn't make a lot of difference. Not that it's a problem, because it's supposed to be fat. But I'll give it a coat of Resolene, knocked down half and half with water, and a bit of a polish, and that's the final result. There's the coin pouch and somewhere to put cards and things. Well, I'm quite pleased with it in the end. It was a bit tricky, but I'm very pleased with it anyway. I hope. My granddaughter is probably be too bulky for her to carry about, but she might like it. Anyway, I mean, this is a little card holder I made myself, which someone asked me if I'd make them one of them, so I could do a video of making that if anyone was interested in seeing that. I don't know if these leather working videos are boring or not, but there has been some developments on the insurance company front, and I've literally just got off the phone to someone, so I'll be doing a video on that in the next day or two and update you on that. So that's it for this one. Keep safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.